Hi, it's Marie Fleming here and welcome to my Sometimes Shit Happens video series, and this is video number 3. So today I'm going to talk to you about something, I suppose a few things that happened when I was growing up, when I was quite young, that were really challenging and actually ended up having a really lasting impact on me. It's not something Actually, it's not something I've ever spoken about really. Even though I do these videos, since last year, I'm actually a really private person. So it's not something I've spoken about sort of publicly. But when I was thinking about this video series and how shit happens in life, I just felt like it was important to share, I suppose, my experiences and some of the stuff that has helped shape me. So this isn't a series where I'm kind of dishing the dirt on some juicy stuff. There's a lot of things I suppose I could go into, which I'm choosing not to, because partly maybe it's not the time and place, and also I'm very aware of impacting other people as well, and there are other people out there that may be impacted by this too, people that I know and people that are in my life. So yeah, I'm just a bit wary of it, but at the same time I think it's really important for me is to share some of my experiences. So this is what this is about. So what I wanted to share with you today is, and again, it's probably only my closest friends would know this, is that when I was about 13, my parents, they split up, they got divorced, and it was a good thing because they weren't, probably should never have been together, to be honest, and it was a good sort of thing that they ended up splitting. But what happened in the process was that I ended up living with my dad for about 2-3 years, and my dad was an alcoholic, so he always battled with that. My mum always kept him away from alcohol. I kind of grew up up until probably the age of 13, minus a couple of incidents where I saw him and how he was when he used to drink. It kind of it was sort of a normal-ish a normal-ish upbringing at home. But it was when I was 13 and my parents split, like I said, and I was with my dad and he started drinking again, and that's when I suddenly saw my parents sort of change from being one way to a complete other way of being. And it was so scary and it was so upsetting to see him like that. So he, and without going into the details, because I don't think the details really matter right now in this video, but he wasn't a very nice drunk. He was very abusive, mainly towards me, probably because I don't know, maybe because I reminded him of my mum or something, I don't know. But so it was very sort of abusive relationship where he'd be drinking and I'd come in and it would just be really difficult. So that kind of happened for a couple of years, where it was sort of consistently every single day living alongside someone that would just be very abusive to you. So I suppose you could relate to this if you know somebody, or you've maybe been in an abusive relationship in some form or another yourself, or know someone who has, and you can imagine how that kind of eats away at you over time. So that kind of continued from the age of about 13 to 14, 15, and it actually resulted in me being taken into care for a little while in my life. And I remember that summer, it was when I think I was about 14 and a half or something, and I spent, sort of 4 or 5 months in care. It was like a children's home, actually, and it was scary. It was such a scary place to be, surrounded by these kids, and I was really quiet and shy. I was very academic, very sort of, my friends who know me now would know, how much I liked my stuff, my homework and my work. I used to mess around as well, but I took my studies kind of seriously. So it was, for me to be in that environment and to be a child in care was quite a big thing, I suppose, when you view somebody from the outside. And it did feel to me like it was the scariest thing. And it was almost like, and without, I'm not blaming whoever, but it was almost this sense of abandonment. I found myself in this place completely alone, without parents there, without parenting kind of 24/7 for the first time in my life, sort of fending for myself, and yeah, just feeling very abandoned. So that experience, and there was another experience afterwards when I was in care a little bit after that for a short time, but that experience for me really impacted me. So and it's funny how sometimes it doesn't have to be a massive period in your life So for me, that was 4 months, 4 or 5 months in care. But it was like amazing how that experience really, really impacted me. And I kind of took it with me through my life. And particularly with the kind of relationship I had with my dad, the funny thing about that was that it really, really knocked my confidence, and really sort of chipped away at my self-belief and my self-worth and my self-esteem. But the funny thing is, it's because my nature was to be very optimistic and positive, I would always flip it around. So this is why, you know, if you've seen a few things I've spoken about, this is why I'm very kind of not anti, but I talk about it's not always about positive thinking, because if you do that, sometimes you miss how you actually feel about something and you kind of bypass it. So that's what happened to me. So I used to flip that around, going, it's okay, you know, I've still got, you know, my dad still loves me and my mum is there and I'm lucky, I'm lucky, I'm lucky. And I kind of dismissed the experience I had with my dad, which lasted a few years, and sort of just pushed it away and said, no, I'm fine. But what happened is that I kind of took it through into adulthood, you know, and I would have described myself as not very loud, but a quietly confident person. And I never would have thought or believed that I had self-esteem issues or self-worth issues. But it was only, you know, it's only when I went through my life, became ill. If you see video 1, I explained when I got, you know, ME, chronic fatigue syndrome, and sort of worked through all of that. It was only when I started unpicking my life and working through all this crap that had been kind of sitting on me physically and emotionally that I realised how much that had impacted me and how little I thought of myself. And it also made me realise the relationships I had ended up attracting to me, you know, they were maybe not, how can I say it, the most helpful relationships, you know. So I ended up putting up with an awful lot of things in my life through relationships that there's no way today, having worked on myself, that I would tolerate. I mean, I just wouldn't. I love myself that much now and I care about myself that I just wouldn't tolerate that kind of crap in my life. But, you know, through the years, when I look back, what I've learned from this is that, my God, that really damaged my self-esteem and my self-worth. So for me, I've had to really work hard on it. So, you know, and that sometimes maybe, you know, that might be a bit of a surprise to some people, because sometimes when you do these videos, people look at you and they go, oh, you're really together. I could never be that confident and believe in myself. But what people don't realise is that this wasn't like natural for me to even do these videos and talk about this kind of stuff. I'm only doing this because I've learned so much about myself. I've transformed a lot of crap, and I'm feeling pretty good, you know, very good in my life right now. But so I suppose this is to share with you, in case, you know, I'm sure there are people out there, maybe you're feeling bad about yourself, or maybe you feel like you're in a relationship that's not serving you, or you're surrounded by people that aren't giving you what you need, you know. You need to look at that, because it's so damaging. You've got to look at the relationships, you know, friends, family, you know, work people, whoever it is in your life. Is there bullying? Is there abuse going on? Is there stuff you're tolerating that you shouldn't tolerate because you're worth so much more? So I guess, you know, that's a real topic close to my heart, because I believe that everybody's magnificent and you've got so much amazing stuff inside you, but sometimes shit happens in life that means that it all gets covered up and it takes you a while to unpick it. So my point today, I guess, is to say that it's possible. You can clear out all the shit, all the crap, no matter where you've come from and what stuff you've experienced. There's so much strength in you, you know, and that's what I've learned. And sometimes you've got to learn the hard way, and sometimes you know, you can just transform things, but sometimes the only way to do it is to go through the emotions, is to work through the stuff, not just positive think and tell yourself it's all fine. Yes, positive thinking, yes, all really helpful mindset stuff, but notice if there's big things in your life that have impacted on you. Notice if you're emotionally charged by that, you know. Do you feel it physically in your body? Are you carrying it around? What do you think about yourself? So one of the things, you know, I like to ask people is, do you love yourself? Because I certainly didn't for a very long time. And I'll share something else in the next video. But I really didn't love myself. In fact, I'd say I'd go so far as I had a lot of self-hate, you know. But today I can actually stand here and say I bloody love myself. And some of you are going to think, oh my God, you know, who does she think she is? But I really mean that. I love myself. I value myself enough now to know that I'm worth something, just by being here and just by being me. And, you know, the power that you have in your life comes from within. It comes from you. So don't let anyone ever knock that out of you. And if they have, know that it's temporary. Like I always say, it's temporary. So yeah, just know your own magnificence. Know that it's in there. You know, you can get through this stuff. So this is just an example of some of the shit that's happened to me in my life. Video number 3. So I hope, you know, you found that useful. Give it a like if you like this video, you got something from it. And I will share with you very shortly in the next video, number 4, some more shit that's happened to me and some of the stuff that I've learned along the way. So until then, take care, have a great day, look after yourselves, and I will speak to you again shortly in the next video.